Well, hello. It's another sunny day in Virginia.
Yes, I love fall and spring in Virginia. Winter's not bad either because you don't have a lot of snow.
Well, I think I'm going to have to keep moving someplace because
You don't want any snow.
I don't want any snow.
There's a lot of people down here say, "Oh, I want snow," and I'm like, "Go north."
Well, and but I told my husband the other day. I said I think sometimes when you live near a place so long, you take it for granted. Just like when we go visit places that have historical things, and we're like so excited, and they're just like
And we
you
have,
know, and I think that probably maybe if I left and came back and went, oh, it's so beautiful, but I, s- I mean, when you see it, the same thing all the
it's
time.
like visiting New York. It's fun to visit, but I don't want to live there
And see,
anymore.
and I go to cities and I get a rush.
Oh,
But see, yeah, but see, I don't go enough to where it burns me out. If I were there and having to drive in the traffic every single day and all this stuff, I'd probably have a different opinion. But so going and visiting something is different than living in it, I think.
yes, visiting is fine.
Because I mean, we all have this perception, or at least a lot of people have this perception of New York.
Oh, yes. Oh,
But we forget there are rats down in the subways. We forget there's the pee smell in the subway. We forget there's the drug needles in the subway. We forget that it stinks down there. We forget all the things because we've glamorized it so much.
you only see the surface.
And a lot of people, that's one of the things they like to come to this area because because this is one area that, they still have trees, which they're cutting those. So, I mean, there's some areas that are being cut down now and stuff. And so we are losing the trees. But, they come and they're like, oh, you can see the trees and you can see, and it's the country and everything. But,
My husband and I were just talking about that. A lot of people will move from a northern place with their same ideals and come down here to very rural Virginia and a more conservative place. And it's like, okay. And they want to make the changes that they had up there down here. But they moved down here because, number one, the taxes are lower. There's less invasiveness with the government. And yet some of them want to keep changing it.
yes.
So my thing is stay there. Now, we did not live in New York City. It's a place you visit. Don't want to live there. Upstate New York, different
Yeah, it's more rural
thing.
like this,
More,
right?
yes. Our hometown wasn't any bigger than putting Victoria and Cambridge together. That was it. And that was the largest in the whole county. There were maybe 3 towns, 4 towns. This is rural. Were we busy? Yes, because it's a tourist area, it's a lake, it's a state park, it's the races. So yes, we had tourism and it's busy. Wintertime, you might as well pull the sidewalks up.
At least you got a little bit of quiet time, huh?
Oh, yes. You made friends with the local fly. That was working. Anyway.
But see, and I think about this too because see, I've been told about how South Hill is growing,
Yes.
and with the more things that come into South Hill, it's also going to push its way out this way because more people are going to want to come this way to live probably. And so when with progress comes change. So do you want the business? I mean, you want South Hill to grow. You would like there to be businesses and jobs for people. But when you do have jobs and businesses and people coming and people recognizing, then then you're giving up other things. So it is a two-sided coin. So, and you have to decide what you want more. And for a long time, I think a lot of people in this area voted to keep it quiet. And that's why Cambridge is not expansive like it is.
Well, that's true. And on that note, our church is looking for a pastor. And we are going to try to get one that will go from a church in South Hill and ours. So we share because there's not that many. And trying to explain it to people who want to have just their own. First of all, you're not going to attract a family. Really. Unless they want to live in a rural area.
Right, they have to have the desire
They have
to
to have
live in a rural.
they have to have that, yeah, that calling. So if you compare South Hill to Cambridge, they probably wouldn't mind living in South Hill.
Correct.
It has a Walmart. I mean, it's kind of, I mean, Home
Right.
Depot, I'm really.
No, I mean, there's more eating
There's,
places, there's more
exactly.
things.
There's much more. And that's not that far away.
It's not.
It's a stone's throw, really, in 20 minutes from here to South Hill. That is a doable amount. So yes, you have to look at that. And you have to look at your situation. And I remember a few years ago when Turning Point was trying to get like different grants and things. I forget what the economic advantage was, like a Section 5, if you combined with another company and the county and develop things. One of the big things that they said that we didn't have was internet service and good cell phone.
Still working on a cell phone. I mean, locally and stuff, because sometimes, depending on which road you're on, it can come and go.
We have the Bermuda Triangle, a couple. You go through a dip and there's nothing.
You go through a dip and, I mean, all of a sudden the call's cut off, and on 138, I mean, you lose it, and I mean, there's nothing. And you would think there would be, but anyway, yes, so you're right. So internet is getting better, because I see them putting lines and stuff
all through this town. And
Mm-hmm.
they increased our internet here for us. You were able to get on.
Yes, I was.
Yes, because they rerouted the data to come this direction, because we're the only ones that use it. I was told, however, that we used about 12 gigabytes of doing our podcast, but I'm like, no.
Really?
No.
It can't be that, right?
No. No. And we're the only one. So no.
It can't be.
No. No, it can't be. Not. Otherwise, we wouldn't be Zooming or doing anything else. No. And no one uses it. We're the only ones using it once a week. No. I'm not going to worry about it. We're doing fine.
But going back to what you were saying, I mean, you've got to have things, but in order to keep things, so you either keep the same, and like, I know one time, I think that's why, it took so long, like, for Food Line to come in the area, because there was, local grocery stores and stuff, and competition, which competition is good for people, but then when you start getting competition, then mom and pops start going out. So there is two sides to every coin,
yes.
but when you have more people coming in, then you have to have resources for them. Yes. I mean, at one time in Cambridge, you could not buy socks or underwear. Oh, you couldn't. Now you can. At least you can get something.
You can go to Dollar General.
Yeah, but I mean, at one time you couldn't find a pair. I mean, so now that we have that, that's good. I mean, but I'm just saying so now we have.
We got Dollar Tree.
Got Dollar Tree, Family
Dollar. I mean, they're sharing the same.
But there used to be so much activity in Cambridge. I mean, with nice department stores and stuff when my husband was coming along, and movie theaters. And I mean, we had a lot of, even when I moved up here, there was a lot of little mom and pop grocery stores, even just in the uptown place. But progress changes things. I mean, it runs other things out, and it brings things in that you don't want to, because then you also bring in possibly more crime.
And one of the big things for this area that brought people here was the train.
It was.
Because it went east to west, and this is like midpoint between the beach and the mountains. And when they removed those tracks, we have no major highway that goes through here.
No, and so now, some trucking companies and all, they don't always like to get off the highway, even though you're not very far, but they don't like to get off the highway and come too far.
Exactly. So we are not on 360. We're not on 460. We're not near 85. We're not near 1. So we're in this little dead air space, so to speak, for traffic. And that was the other thing, that we're not near any major hub. Keysville is. I mean, look at that. You got 360. If you're near 360, 460, 85, 95, you're near a hub. but we are not.
Mm-hmm.
And you take the train away.
Well, then the tobacco business changed because that started getting regulated more by the federal government and people and their smoking and various things. Anyway, so then tobacco program, diminished. So then, because
Yeah.
tobacco market was really large here and stuff too. So, I mean, yeah.
Look at all the warehouses.
Oh, you see them around
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
empty and stuff. But yeah, there was a lot of warehouses for that, and so yeah, so the economy went down and because of change. And but now South Hill is changing,
Oh,
and
yes.
so they've got to meet because I mean, where they've put that new school, there's not a lot of eating places out that way. So people come to
They're
games,
going to start
they're going to
moving.
have
Yep.
to start, and then people are all of a sudden probably going to want shopping centers out there, because more people that move into the area, they're going to want something closer to them.
We were in South Hill yesterday. Went to the donut shop.
Mm. Oh, have you tried that new bakery yet that's on the corner right before you get to
No.
I haven't tried it either, but I want to. They make homemade stuff there. I'm going to try that
There's
one
one in
too.
Blackstone.
I haven't tried that either.
Yes. That just opened a couple weeks ago. Anyway, so I went there, and of course, now South Hill has the Tesla recharging stations.
Yes, it does.
So that'll tell you right there.
And it's right off of 85, so people can whip
Yes.
up in there.
Yep.
And it's at a restaurant. They timed that night, or they placed it nicely because come in here and have a drink or get something to eat while your car's charging.
Smart move, sitting right there. The gas was $2.99, $2.89. So it's easy to fill up there. There's so many places to eat. It's got a Home Depot. Now I heard Cracker Barrel was closing some of its stores.
Oh, I didn't heard that. Okay.
That would be pretty sad because I thought they were pretty busy. They usually, but who knows?
But I hear new restaurants are coming to South Hill too. So, more chain-like things and stuff.
Chick-fil-A they don't have a Chick-fil-A.
No, I don't know if this is true or not, but I had heard that they were looking at coming, but for some reason that didn't work out. So I'm not sure about that.
It would be
I'm
nice.
not sure.
So it is a very, growing community.
It is. And it's going to grow out also. But usually they call them the bedroom communities, and I think we're a bedroom community. So people are going to want the life of the country, so they're going to want to come towards
and
this
drive
way,
to where they
and then
need
drive
yep.
to, and then
and a lot of what's out there too. There's a Microsoft out there. So Emporia's not that far away.
The lake is not very far.
No,
either.
Not far.
So I mean, it's South Hill's in a really good because it's not too far from Henderson.
No.
And then you get on the road and you're up to Petersburg.
That's right. It's close.
South Hill's in a really good zone to be. And then and then you take 58 and see 58 then does
that's right.
Run
Go
the
east.
state.
That goes
it runs
right,
the state.
right across.
So South Hill is in a very very
yep.
good
It's at a
situation.
crossroads right there where everything. It's good.
But some of the people in the country there are going to lose their life. I mean, lose the way they live.
Right. Because the land's got to be used for something.
It does, and more people are going to become invading and wanting to build or buy or.
I could see where they would move towards even in the area of Chase City too, because I mean that's not that far away from South Hill in that direction.
But then the younger kids that maybe have inherited land, but they don't want to come back here and live, they're
going to sell off, and then
it's everything. The face of it's going to change.
Yeah, in a way, I'm kind of glad we live where we do. I don't think they want to move out to where we are.
Not yet. Not yet. You're a little bit far out.
A little far out. And when we moved down here, I mean, if you drive to Richmond and you're in Midlothian in that one area near Lowe's, that was not here 17 years ago. And it's moving out, and the new Publix that's right there, and all those apartments. I mean, it's just totally expanding.
But
so much
when
stuff.
More people come in, though, then it's the supply and demand thing. Then the prices go up. So it's going to affect this rural area with higher prices that a lot of locals may not be able to afford.
Except for one thing. And this is funny. We went to Walmart last spring. right there next to Lowe's at Midlothian. And they had camo shirts.
Oh, I remember you bought one, didn't
For
you?
$4 and $5. That was at Walmart. But then when we came down to Walmart at Farmville, it was like double the price. Now, what does this tell you? There's more hunters down here than there is in Midlothian.
True.
It wasn't selling so well up there, so they had to really mark them down. And I'm laughing at this. I'm like, yep, we're.
And Midlothian is city, people.
Yeah, it's city.
You're in this. You're getting into.
Yeah.
You may not be in the metropolis, but you're getting.
You're
into
in
the
that part
city.
of the megalopolis there, yes.
And it's people that that walk their dogs and ride bikes.
Yes, and they
I
just
mean,
probably wear the camo just because.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be a name brand for sure,
Yeah,
just
what-
because they're.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
a different.
I'm laughing because I saw the exact same stuff. I'm like, it's $12 here in Farmville. It's only like $6 up in Midlothian. I'm glad we bought it up there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, and the same thing, and the prices, because you're right about prices going up. Because you could see that lamp over there, that black one that we have? That was a Walmart brand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't remember what our daughter paid for that lamp. But if you were to buy that rather than Farmville and go up to Ashburn in Northern Virginia, it was probably $4 or $5 more, just because of where it is.
Mm-hmm.
They can charge more because people are earning more.
True. And like rents go up.
The rent,
The cost
yes,
of housing, cost of land.
everything.
It's driven the price. People moving in here from the north and stuff have definitely driven the price of land up around here.
Well, how about that pizza we were selling that day last year to the guy from California? What was it? We were selling it for $2 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at it, he said, wow, in California, what was it going to be, like $6?
Yeah.
It's like, well, you can pay us $6 if you'd like, we'd take it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's, and it's just, there are the point of all this is that you have to decide. And then this is where it kind of gets in with the election was yesterday.
Oh boy, that was.
So then the people that you elect are the ones that you're hoping to make these decisions that's going to take your town into a better place.
But we better,
Maybe, but I
maybe.
mean, are they going to take it into a place so you really do have to think about things.
Or even our state.
Our state, which we down here in rural Virginia don't have control over what happens. It's Northern Virginia and the Tidewater area.
Yes.
They control everything for our state.
And yet, why did we move here to Virginia? Because New York was the exact same way. New York City
Controlled
everything.
And it shouldn't be that way. How do you get your voice if you're never going to be? And I have a hard time explaining this to new voters. I mean, why do I vote if Northern Virginia and the other one's always going to get their way? And I'm like, I have to.
It may just be one vote, and it's your vote if you don't do it. That's the whole thing. And I forget what election that was lost, and it was some family member, and they couldn't see any point in voting. I said, but if all of you who thought that way didn't vote or went and voted, the option would have been different. The outcome would have been different. Because.
But see, most of us are going to keep gravitating down here because we don't want the northern and the Tidewater life style. So we're not going to be up there. So it's just makes it, and that's what I told my granddaughter the other day. I voted early.
Yeah, we did.
So, and they were with me and stuff. And she was like, well, Grandma, do you have to do this? And I was like, no, the one thing is we do not have to vote.
Don't have to.
I feel like I have to, and I need to, because being a citizen, I feel like it's my duty, but I also feel like it's a privilege and a right, because so many other countries do not get to voice it. So even if I go in there and my person or my choice isn't selected, I feel in my
You've
that
done
I have
your
made
due diligence.
I've done my part to do what I feel like I need to do to be a part of all this.
So, and people who don't vote and then complain, I don't have any tolerance for them. Because don't complain about what's happening if you have not gone out and voted.
True. And now there are people that don't vote and they never complain because they're like, hey, I'm
They
not
don't care.
participating. They don't, they're just, and
They're
that's
like in a
fine.
different, they're like in a
But
different world. Do they even, I often wonder if these people follow the laws at all, or if they're just in their own little microcosm.
yeah, because, well, and they probably just, I mean, in their defense, they probably feel like
So what?
it doesn't matter. So it's like, I'm not going to complain, but I'm not going to participate because it's not going to, I'm going to do the things that matter, that they feel like. So and that's the wonderful thing about it is we have the choice to do anything.
Until those people come across something that, oops, it's going to affect me.
Oh yeah,
You
because I
know?
mean,
This
it
is,
stirred up over the past 3-4 years is what really stirred people up to even getting out and voting because I think there was a good turnout this year. This is an
yeah,
off presidential
yeah.
election, and they said they had a high. This was the highest.
Almost like 600 people went out to vote.
Well, it was.
Yeah.
I was number 950 in pre,
Wow.
and in the pre-voting, I was number 950, and they said it was the off presidential election, it was the highest early voting that they
Wow.
had. So in a
Wow.
rural area like this, when you get, because we have like say maybe
That's
12,000.
that's right.
So when you
You get
think,
almost 10%.
yeah. So I mean, when you get people out on a
Stirred up, but fine.
non-presidential
At
for
least they get out to
something,
do
they're
something.
but taking down our statues, trying to take away the gun stuff. I mean, all of that really stirred people up in the last 3 to 4 years.
And it better stir
And
some
it
people up again.
has, so, and they need to, you got to stay on it because it's one of those slow things. If you're not watching, all of a sudden it's done and you didn't even realize it.
It's like molasses slowly, slowly spreading.
Or Heinz Kitchen.
You put the knife up in it to get it to come out.
All right. Well, we're about to the end, so we will.
Well, yes.
I know.
Neat topic.
It is. It is. But hope you did your duty yesterday.
And voted. We voted a while ago.
But take care, and we'll talk at you later.